Welcome to the Why Not Today podcast. And I'm your host, Leslie Kane. And today I have a fun episode in honor of Valentine's Day coming up. And today we're going to talk about loving yourself enough to say no. And so I always share a Why Not Today moment. So the other day I went to a networking event and, I woke up that morning and I just wasn't feeling it and got some bad news before I went, got stuck in terrible traffic. And as I'm driving there, I'm just not feeling it and trying to talk myself out of going, turning around, don't bother. But I kept going because I wasn't paying attention to what my body and what my heart was saying. And I know that, you go to these events and sometimes the old me used to go to these events and you're afraid you're going to miss something because what if the person you'd been wanting to meet was there? So I trudged through the snow, went into the event. And you know what? Although I've been to the event before, I was just not feeling it. The energy in the room did not fill my cup. And so I was there for a little bit. And you know what? I just left. And I know enough to trust my intuition, trust my gut, and just say, you know what? This is not for me today. Maybe it is another day, but definitely not that day. And so that was a why not today moment that I was able to pivot. I should have listened to myself before I left the house, but then I was able to do some things to take care of me. I went to Target, a little retail therapy, just got a couple things I needed, stopped at Pete's, which is my favorite coffee shop, and grabbed a coffee. So today, with Valentine's Day coming up, I really wanted to talk about taking care of us. We're surrounded by messages, loving others, showing up, giving more, being thoughtful, being everything to everyone. And as the oldest child of six with five siblings, I know that feeling. And I love that we want to give back and do all these things for other people. But today I want to gently shift the conversation. What if loving yourself is the most powerful thing you can do for somebody else and for everybody else? If you go back to the airplane, they want you to put your mask on first before you put somebody else's. So we got to take care of us. So what if loving yourself looks like protecting your time, your energy, and your goals? Because here's something that I've learned the hard way. If you're always last on the list, eventually there's nothing left to give. Can anybody else relate to that? So why are so many women, especially, exhausted these days? Most women I know are not burned out because they're lazy. Heck no. They're burned out because they care, sometimes care too much. We say yes because we want to help. We want to be included. As a people pleaser, I don't want to disappoint anybody. We don't want to miss the opportunity. But research from the American Psychological Association shows that chronic overcommitment significantly increases stress levels and contributes to emotional exhaustion. Burnout is often not about working too much. It's about lack of boundaries and lack of alignment. That distinction matters because high achieving women are not short on motivation at all. They're short on protected space. And we're so willing to give and give and give and do things. My sister and I catch ourselves often saying, we're going to do something because we feel bad. Well, I really try to listen to that and don't do it because I feel bad or feel guilty. Do it because I want to. So self-love is really decision making. It's often marketed as spa days, time off, and those things are fun and beautiful, and we all need those. But deeper self-love is about decision making. It is asking, does this align with my priorities? Does this support my goals? Does this protect my energy? Behavioral psychology confirms something powerful. Decision fatigue is real. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that. The more emotional decision we have to make throughout the day, especially when we are constantly regenerating boundaries, the more depleted we become. When you decide in advance to reduce emotional strain, and that is loving yourself. So do you have boundaries in your life? Do you have rules like you don't do this or you do this? I know we have rules, we govern our life in other areas, like I don't smoke. And, no desire, no interest. That's kind of a rule. But what other things do we need to have rules wrapped around your life? You just don't do that. You're not the kind of person that does whatever. So pay attention to that energy. There's another layer to this, and it's energy. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt drained, kind of like I did the other day, or left an event and thought, why did I go to that? And then there are other rooms where you feel energized, inspired, and expanded. I went to one of those this morning. And if you haven't been to Million Cups, if you're local in the area, go to Loudoun County or the Million Cups at Loudoun County. Oh my gosh, that is so much fun. You laugh, you belly laugh, you have fun, you meet great people. The energy in the room is contagious and amazing. And so that is a room I want to be around. Research on emotional intelligence describes something called emotional contagion. We absorb and mirror the emotional states of the people around us. You ever felt that? The energy of people and environments affects us whether we realize it or not. And so, they say you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who are you spending time with? And part of loving yourself is paying attention to that. Before saying yes, pause and ask yourself, how do I feel when I think about this? Am I excited? Am I calm? Am I aligned? Or am I tensed, feel obligated, drained? Your body often knows before your brain does. Pay attention. This energy is information. And as I mentioned in the beginning, FOMO, that fear of missing out. Sometimes we say yes, not because something aligns, but because we're afraid of missing out, afraid someone else will get ahead, afraid an opportunity will disappear. The perfect person I'm supposed to meet will be in the room. And one of my coaches recently said something that's really stuck with me. When we run our business from FOMO, fear of missing out, you're basically letting fear be the CEO of your business. Like, heck no, that is such a powerful statement. If fear is a CEO, decisions are reactive, they're rushed, they're scarcity driven. But when alignment is the CEO, decisions are calm, intentional, strategic. So ask yourself, is this coming from vision or is it coming from fear? And just feel the energy. And that's really one of the reasons I started the Why Not Today movement. And it's about courageous decision making, not waiting to be perfect, not letting fear drive your calendar inside our community. So I have an inner circle, there's workshops, there's a Facebook group. We're constantly asking, what is that brave step? What is aligned? What honors this season? And the movement was inspired in the podcast, if you didn't know, by my dad, Patrick Kane, who often said, why not today? And sometimes a brave step is not starting something new. Sometimes a brave step is just saying no. So if you're new to the podcast, it was started, we're getting ready to celebrate our 4th anniversary, which is so exciting. And my name is Leslie. I'm the courage coach and the founder of the Why Not Today movement. And so every week, you either hear a solo episode from me or interviews that move beyond inspiration to practical action. And today is one of those solo episodes where you get me talk about what it really looks like to grow with courage. So talking about boundaries and examples, for me, loving myself looks like structuring my week intentionally. I'm a freedom and flexibility girl. I like the freedom and flexibility. I do not want the exact same calendar every week. But there are some things that I've put in place that make such a difference. My Mondays are reserved for office works. I have my inner circle call, so I spend time preparing for that. But then I don't schedule networking on Mondays. There's a networking event that's every Monday, and I don't go. First of all, I won't work in my schedule because of the inner circle, but no, it's a hard no. Also, people that have meetings at early in the morning, hard no. Somebody recently invited me to a virtual network event. She goes, oh, and it's 8 o'clock on Zoom. I'm like, that still doesn't matter. I have to be showered and ready, and I'm not going to jump on Zoom without being presentable. That's just me. I do have a Mary Kay hat in my closet. But so that's my Mondays. Fridays are reserved for fun or intentional connection. If I meet somebody for coffee on a Friday, it is generally because I want to see them, not because I feel obligated. And so if you had the opportunity to hang out with me on a Friday, I like you. Also, some things I've done to help protect not just my energy, but my pocketbook is I don't do lunch meetings very often. I do coffee meetings. They're quicker. Not interrupted by a waiter, and you can have more intense conversations. So I love coffee meetings, or if it's not close geographically, I do Zoom, and that's okay. So these decisions all protect my energy. And when I started doing this, I noticed the guilt decreased, my overthinking decreased, my productivity increased, and my joy increased. And that's just so important. So usually Mondays and Tuesdays, I don't even get in my car. I am home. So when you decide in advance, remove the emotional negotiation. So when somebody says, oh, do you want to come to something at 7:30? It's a hard no. Do you want to come to a networking event on a Monday? Nope. And during the winter when it's cold and dark, I don't do much at night, and that's okay. I get to set those boundaries. So also a big thing about loving ourselves is knowing no. The word no, N-O, is a complete sentence. Many women are conditioned to associate saying no with rejection. But leadership research shows that people who set clear and respectful boundaries are often perceived as more confident and more trustworthy. Saying no is not rejection, it's redirection. You're not saying no to people, you're saying no, or you're saying yes to your purpose. And this is worth repeating. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation or honor for honoring your goals. So the other thing I talk about a lot, and I've taught for years, is filling your cup. And that's another way to love ourselves. And it's not like a literal cup. I actually asked on Facebook one time, how do you fill your cup? And people are like, wine, beer, halfway, overflowing. I'm like, no, 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 no. It's literally filling your internal cup. What intentionally are you doing to restore your energy so you have something to give? You know, we give all week to our families and our friends and life, and we just keep pouring out of our bucket. And if you don't spend time filling your bucket, then you have nothing to give. So research on resilience and performance consistently shows that recovery is essential for sustainable success. High performers who build in restoration outperform those who push nonstop. So filling your cup might look like a quiet walk, time in prayer, reflection, exercise, creative time. I have coloring books and crayons and pencils, and sometimes I just spend time doing that. I know a lot of people do puzzles, which I need to start doing. Also, you can fill your cup being around people who energize you. On Saturday, it was so flipping cold, like ridiculous cold. And they were saying, don't go out. The wind chill's terrible. You're going to get frostbitten. But I had on my calendar appointments to meet two friends for coffee. And I left them there. And I was like, if they want to take them off, if they wanted to cancel, I was going to let them do it. But my one friend even reached out and she's like, I have a garage. You don't. If you want to bail, I totally understand. I'm like, no, I want to go. I'm not going to freeze. It wasn't far to walk. And you know what? It filled my cup, filled my heart, and warmed my heart. And it exactly what I needed. So also protecting that white space on your calendar. I am really guilty of always feeling like every moment had to be filled. And so now some of my boundaries are I don't do more than two networking events a week. I limit my one-to-ones to no more than 3 or 4 a week. And so when those spots are filled, then you know what? I move ahead. Somebody just today, I had a couple of people I was trying to arrange to catch up with them and set up a one-to-one. And I'm looking at March, and it is, when I'm recording this, it is not even mid-February yet. So protecting the white space on your calendar is important. And this isn't indulgent, it is strategic, because when you fill your cup, your yes becomes generous instead of resentful. Anybody ever said yes and then was resentful and in a bad mood because of it? Yeah, you don't want to do that. So my challenge for you this week is try this. Choose one non-negotiable, a work block, a rest block, a creative block. Before committing to something, check your energy. Ask whether fear is driving the decision. Practice saying, that doesn't fit my priorities right now, or I'm protecting my schedule this season, or no, but thank you. Say it kindly, say it confidently, and stop talking. So loving yourself does not mean doing less. It means doing what matters most. It means not letting fear run your business. It means paying attention to your energy. It means protecting your goals. It means filling your cup so you can give well. And so this Valentine's, yes, love the people around you, but also ask, why not today choose yourself? Why not today protect your energy? Why not today honor your goals? And why not today just say no? Because the life and business you're building deserves protection. And so do you. So thanks again for joining us on the Why Not Today podcast, your space for practical tools, real encouragement, and courageous growth. So whether you're launching something new or navigating pivot, I hope that you are leaving today's episode with one clear step and a reminder that you are not alone. So if you want to hear more about Why Not Today, want to take the next step, want to schedule a free coaching call or curiosity call about the inner circle, it's all on whynottodaymovement.com. And this podcast is your bridge from inspiration to action, and I'm here to walk with you every step of the way. And if this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss a moment of courage. And remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take one more brave step. And why not today? Thanks for listening. Bye. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day.